I'm Ali Karimi, 17 years old, and 3 months back I got electrocuted by a power line during demonstrations in Tehran. I wasn't some devout kid. I despised going to the mosque. I thought my parents were idiots for praying 5 times daily while our government kept deteriorating. I spent my days gaming, fantasizing about getting out of Iran. I was furious, constantly. Furious at God, furious at everything. Furious at being born somewhere kids my age get killed for wanting liberty. The day I died, I was heading home from school when I noticed the crowd assembling. Another protest. More people screaming about change that would never happen. I was so exhausted by it all. But then, I spotted this girl from my class getting shoved around by cops, and something in me exploded. I grabbed a metal rod to help her, not realizing the power line overhead had come down. During the mayhem, the electricity struck me like an explosion detonating in my chest. Instead of blackness, I found myself standing in what appeared to be my grandmother's former house, the one that got demolished in an earthquake when I was small. Everything was precisely how I remembered it, but brighter, more real than reality. And sitting at her kitchen table was this man I'd never encountered before, but somehow instantly knew. He wasn't radiating light like in the films. He appeared ordinary, maybe 30 years old, Middle Eastern like me, dressed in simple clothing. But his eyes, God, his eyes contained so much sorrow and love simultaneously that I began weeping before he even spoke. "Sit down, Ali," he said in flawless Farsi. I knew it was Jesus, even though that made zero sense. I'm from a Muslim household. We don't believe Jesus is God. But sitting there, I felt like I was meeting my older brother, someone who understood every furious thought I'd ever had. "You're mad at me," he said, and it wasn't a question. "Yeah, I am." The words escaped before I could stop them. "Where were you when my friend got shot? Where were you when my father lost his job for speaking out? Where were you when that earthquake killed my grandmother?" He nodded like he'd been waiting for me to ask. I was there, in the pain, in the loss, in the anger. I was there. "That's not an answer," I said, my voice cracking. "No," he agreed. "It's not, but it's the truth." Then everything around us shifted. We weren't in my grandmother's house anymore. We were floating above the earth, but not like Superman or something ridiculous like that. It was like seeing through God's eyes. "I want to show you something," he said, "but it's going to hurt." What I witnessed next still haunts my dreams. I watched as world leaders sat in rooms making decisions about war, like they were playing chess. But above each room, I could see these dark entities, not quite human, not quite beast, whispering in their ears, feeding them thoughts of pride and vengeance and power. "Those are demons," Jesus said simply, "and they're very good at their job." I watched as one of these creatures whispered to a man in a suit, someone powerful, though I couldn't tell from where. The man nodded and signed a document. The demon grinned, and I felt nauseated. "What did he just do?" I asked. "He authorized the first strike," Jesus said. "Nuclear." The vision shifted, and I saw missiles launching. Not in some movie way, but real, terrifying. I saw cities. I recognized Tehran, Tel Aviv, somewhere that looked like New York. I saw the moment the bombs struck. I saw children vaporized instantly. I saw mothers holding babies, both turning to ash in seconds. I threw up. Right there, floating in space. I threw up. "Make it stop," I begged. "I can't," he said, and for the first time he sounded angry. Not at me, at what we were watching. "This is what free will looks like when people choose fear over love. But you're God? You can stop it." "I can. But I won't, not unless people ask me to." That's when I understood something that changed everything. God wasn't some dictator forcing his will on earth. He was like a parent watching his kids make terrible choices, wanting to help, but waiting to be invited. "How many people die?" I whispered. "In the first exchange, 14 million. In the year that follows, 200 million. After that," he paused. "After that, it doesn't matter. Civilization ends." I was sobbing so hard I couldn't breathe. When? Soon, unless something changes, unless people wake up and start praying together instead of fighting each other. The vision changed again, and now I was watching prayer meetings, but not normal ones. I saw Christians and Muslims and Jews together, crying out to God as one. I saw the demons I'd watched earlier, literally fleeing from these gatherings. I saw the dark whispers getting quieter as the prayers got louder. "Prayer isn't just talking to me," Jesus explained. "It's spiritual warfare. Every time someone prays with real faith, darkness loses ground." "But nobody believes that anymore," I said. "That's the problem. They think politics will save them. They think military strength will protect them. They think money will buy them safety. But none of that works against spiritual enemies. He showed me more. I saw how every act of forgiveness sent light into dark places. I saw how every moment of genuine love between people of different religions confused and weakened the demons. I saw how fasting, real fasting, not just giving up food but giving up selfishness, created power that could literally change the course of nations. "Why are you showing me this?" I asked. "I'm nobody. I'm just a kid who hates going to mosque." Jesus smiled for the first time since I'd met him. "That's exactly why. Adults expect to hear from other adults. Religious people expect to hear from other religious people. But I've always used the unexpected ones. What am I supposed to do? Tell them what you saw, all of them. Muslims, Christians, Jews, everyone. Tell them that heaven cares more about their hearts than their labels. Tell them that prayer together is more powerful than fighting apart." I felt myself being pulled away from him, and panic hit me like a wave. "I don't want to go back. It's too hard down there." "I know," he said, and his voice was so gentle it broke my heart. "But if you don't go back, who will tell them? Who will warn them? What if they don't believe me?" "Some won't, but others will. And that might be enough." The last thing I remember him saying was, "Tell them I love them, even when they can't feel it, even when they doubt, even when they're angry at me like you were. I love them." Then I was back in my body, screaming. The doctor said it was impossible. 31 minutes with no heartbeat, no brain activity. They said I should be brain dead or at least have serious damage. Instead, I woke up perfectly fine except for the memories of what I'd seen. My parents thought I'd lost my mind when I started talking about Jesus. My imam said I was having hallucinations from the trauma. My friends thought I was making it up for attention. But I knew what I'd seen was real because everything started changing around me. I began having dreams about specific things. Which leader would make what decision, which country would threaten which other country. And then I'd watch the news and see exactly what I'd dreamed happening. It was terrifying and amazing at the same time. I started reaching out to Christian and Jewish kids online, telling them what Jesus had shown me. Some blocked me, others started praying. Slowly, groups began forming, not to convert each other, but to pray together for peace. The weird part is, my own faith got stronger too. Reading the Quran now, I see Jesus everywhere. My prayers feel different when I fast. I can feel spiritual things happening that I never noticed before. I've been documenting everything I saw in that vision. The specific locations, the timing, the people involved. And I'm watching it all start to unfold exactly as I was shown. 3 weeks ago, I had another dream. The same man who authorized the first strike in my vision made the exact same decision in real life. I woke up screaming and immediately started posting everywhere I could, begging people to pray. 2 days later, something changed his mind. He withdrew the authorization. The person who interviewed him later said he couldn't explain why he'd had a sudden change of heart. That's when I knew for sure prayer works. Not just the kind where you ask for things, but the kind where you literally fight against the darkness trying to destroy our world. I'm still angry sometimes. I still hate seeing injustice. But now I know that anger can be fuel for prayer instead of fuel for hatred. The nuclear exchange I saw doesn't have to happen. The timeline can be changed, but it's going to take people from all faiths working together instead of against each other. I know how crazy this sounds. A Muslim teenager claiming Jesus spoke to him about nuclear war. But I also know that crazy times require crazy messengers. Every night before I sleep, I pray for the leaders I saw in my vision. I pray for their hearts to be softened. I pray for the demons whispering to them to be silenced. And I ask God to raise up other people, Christians, Muslims, Jews, everyone, to join me. Because what I saw coming is too terrible for any one person to stop. But together, with God's help, maybe we can change the future. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to pray with me. Not to my God or your God, but to the one God who loves all of us enough to send warnings through a nobody kid from Tehran. Time is running out, but it hasn't run out yet, and that has to be enough.